we are in the presence of a celebrity right now. This is
We are.
She did the Super Bowl commercial with Bill Murray and Jeep.
That's it right there.
This is it. This is the one that started it all.
You planned that.
No, I didn't, but yeah, that's cool.
Could we be in line for something funny to come out of the mouth?
Just might happen.
What a little cute.
She's the best.
Everyone deserves to feel their best. Everyone deserves to move their best and not have pain.
I'm a little upset that Ben got like 2 inches taller because he's already tall, dark, and handsome enough.
Culture is something we think about like all the time at Strookies. You know, we're all coming from different cultures.
Our comments have exploded
Through the roof.
So there you go.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Lancaster Connects podcast. I'm your host for today, Ben McClure, and we are broadcasting live from the Gardener's Mattress and More Lancaster Connects studio right here across from Park City Mall. So good afternoon. Glad you're joining us today. We got a great guest. I'm flying solo today. It is football season, and Jeff's son is a sophomore in high school and in the depths of football season. And there's a game this afternoon that was a makeup of a makeup from Friday night's rain. So I'll be flying solo today. Good luck to Jeff's son in his football game. He's kicking butt for the high school football team. Of course, it is, like I said, football season. And normally during football season, we share a little football news. I know Eagles fans and Lions fans, right, and other NFL football fans are happy about yesterday's results. Of course, there are some teams that aren't very happy. I think Eagles fans had a little bit of sweat going during the third and fourth quarters yesterday, but maybe we'll dig more into that with Jeff next week following week 2. But like I said, we've got a great guest today. Looking forward to bringing him on in just a moment. But again, this is Lancaster Connects. This is a show about small business and great things going on here in Lancaster County. We highlight nonprofits and charitable organizations. We highlight businesses that start and thrive in Lancaster County, like our guest that's coming up in just a moment here. You can catch this show, again, live, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. We are streaming live in all of those places. LancasterConnects.com/episodes. You can see all of our past 100+ episodes. I think this is episode 110, I believe. Got a lot of episodes able to be viewed on our website. And if you fit the format of our show, again, somebody that's doing great things in Lancaster, whether you're a business, nonprofit, charitable organization, whatnot, or just have a great story to tell, we love to tell those stories here on Lancaster Connect. So go to LancasterConnects.com/guest and fill out the easy form there, and we'll get you in the queue to be a guest on the show. We're actually booked through, I think, the middle of November now, which is awesome. So maybe we can get you in towards the end of the year or into 2024. But it's, we're growing as a podcast, more and more listeners every day. And, the great thing about that is the more people that are watching, the more we can impact the people in Lancaster with the messages from our guests. And again, nonprofits, charitable organizations, small businesses that need our support. So that's that. I think without further ado, we should bring on our guest. I am honored to have the opportunity to talk to Mr. Jeff Rutt, who is the CEO and founder, I believe, of Keystone Custom Homes, and also the founder of Hope International, based right here in Lancaster. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ben. Great to be here.
Yeah. So we've got a lot to talk about. In the pre-show, though, I learned that you also are a host of a podcast, which is cool. So you're kind of doing what we're doing, but for something different. Do you want to mention what that is?
Yeah, it's called the Generous Business Owners Podcast, and we just highlight business owners and individuals around the country that have gotten involved in generosity. Whether it's, giving the proceeds from a lemonade stand or a $250 million company. It's a great way to just hear about people's journey. And one of my favorite parts of the show is just hearing people's stories and some of the challenges that they've faced, some of the valleys that they've gone through. And it's really encouraging.
That's so cool. Maybe Chris can bring up the website again real quick. I noticed a name on there. I didn't expect to notice or recognize anybody, but like scrolling down through the recent episodes, looks like you had Jim McInvale on from
Yes.
Mattress Mac from Texas. So
Yes.
we know Mattress Mac.
Yeah.
We know obviously he's in our industry, mattresses. He's a
Right.
master of innovation in his market and creativity. And of course, puts on these big, huge, what do we want to call it? Promotions related to sports teams in his Houston area, winning and free furniture and mattresses and whatnot. So that's cool that you got to talk to him.
Yes, we got to interview him and so many others around the country. Alan Barnhart, who's one of our co-hosts, was kind of my mentor in giving away 89% of our company. It was just kind of a radical, crazy idea, but getting to know him and then following in his footsteps of really clarifying, and we'll get into more of that later. But Alan has a very unique, and he doesn't think it's radical, but it is radical way of thinking about the fact that God owns our business and we can maximize it so much more for the kingdom if we really understand that and clarify it.
That's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. I'll definitely have to check it out and subscribe and watch some episodes. I'm definitely going to catch that Mattress Mac one. That sounds like it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So again, thanks for being here. You're the CEO of Keystone Custom Homes. I have that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So tell us a little bit about Keystone Custom Homes and maybe discuss mission, vision, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So Keystone Custom Homes has been in business since 1992. We've built about 9,000 homes here, South Central PA, Northern Maryland. We just opened a division in Charlotte, North Carolina. Our average sale price is around $800,000. We build all the way from $400,000 homes to $2 million homes. Our niche is semi-custom production. So we build about 500 homes a year, but we customize and personalize your home. We were the first builder in the country to win the America's Best Builder Award 3 times. And
Wow.
We focus very intently on customer satisfaction and looking for ways to help people personalize their home. We believe there's our thing is, you don't go to the grocery store and have someone pre-package your grocery cart and say, here's the food you're going to eat for the week. How much more,
Right.
if you're going to make a 30-year investment, why would you want somebody to pre-package it and say, we're smarter than you. We know exactly what you want. And we believe, we're not that smart. We're not smart enough to figure out what each individual who's going to invest their life savings wants in their home. So we allow them to customize their home. Another unique, so we really focus heavily on investing in our clients' dreams. So what are your dreams? We want to understand that. We want to understand where they're coming from, where they want to go to, and then really focus on investing in their dream. And then beyond that, we want to use that profit for purpose. So we've been able to, about 4 years ago, we donated 89% of our company to the National Christian Foundation Charitable Trust. So 89% of the equity we're building in our company is all charity. And we want to continue to invest in dreams through building dream homes. And we do that partly through the work of Hope International, but also through the work of a lot of other great nonprofits around the world.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. I mean, using your business to do good is an amazing thing that, sometimes businesses never get to that point, but it's a great thing to be able to give back when you can. And it sounds like you're doing that by leaps and bounds. So take us back to 1992, starting the company. Were you a builder by trade, or start building custom homes and grew from there?
No, not at all. I actually grew up in a dairy farm, and I actually I literally bought a farm when I was 20 years old, which before I knew what that phrase meant. So 200-acre dairy farm. We had about 150 cows. It turns out 300 and 150 young stock. It turns out 300 bovines are very needy. And we decided after about 10 years of that, my wife and I decided we wanted to get more into missions, short-term missions, and just try something else. And we got into real estate and then home building through working with some other builders, and started really small, built 12 homes our first year, 1992. I work more on the land and marketing and finance side, and we have a lot of great people that are focused on the construction management and the warranty. And my son is vice president of sales and marketing, has a keen eye for market trends, understanding what people are looking for in the market, and staying one step ahead of that, and keeping that in our models and our beautiful 4,000 square foot design studio, which is right at 227 Granite Run Drive.
Okay, yeah. Looking around at some of the pictures that Chris showed there, what are some of the neighborhoods around Lancaster County that would showcase the Keystone Custom Homes?
Yeah, we have a brand new model at Summerford at Stoner Farms, which is on Eden Road, right around the corner from you. They're just if you go back from the Eden Resort, we have that's our Hawthorne, brand new Hawthorne model, and beautifully designed and decorated. If you haven't had a chance to get through that, take a look at that. We have a brand new model at Bishop Woods, which is a large lot wooded community near Elizabethtown. And that's also a brand new model. And then we have a new model being built at Independence Ridge, Enclave at Independence Ridge, which is at the corner of Centerville Road and Marietta Avenue. There's a new model being built there. So yeah, and over 50 other communities. So we have a lot of communities to choose from. About 26 models, some clubhouses being built in some of our communities. So yeah, if you haven't checked out one of our models or even seen our website, check us out, KeystoneCustomHome.com.
That's awesome. And how many people do you employ?
About 160. Yeah. So in 1992, it was yours truly.
Swinging the hammer.
We were selling homes for $69,900, and that included the lot and the lot premium.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah,
lots changed since then.
A lot has changed since that, and so we employ about 160 employees, and we have trade contractors that have been with us for over 20 years that work. So most of our team members and employees are in management and sales and accounting and construction management, and then the actual construction work is all of our amazing trade partners that have been with us for a really long time. And I will continue to represent that Lancaster, Pennsylvania has the best trade partners in the country. I belong to a benchmark group of 12 other builders around the country, some of the best builders in the country that we get to meet with on a regular basis 3 times a year, and they're like family, have been for 20 years. And when we compare notes, I'm so proud of our trade partners and the quality and the hard. I think part of it is the work ethic and the honesty and the just the background that we have here to be. We're so grateful for here in the Lancaster area.
Yeah, that's a theme that we hear over and over and over again on this show. As you know, we highlight other small businesses and nonprofits, charitable organizations, everybody based here in Lancaster County, and that is a common theme. No offense to other areas of the country, but it always seems to come up, that Lancaster County has the best this or the best that, and that's not to toot our horn, but there's a lot of. I mean, it's really just to say there's a lot of really great people doing a lot of great things, and there's a community mindset and a mindset to help each other out and do right by each other. And it's cool to see it in every different type of business. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so you asked about the team members. So all 160 members of our team get a chance to make a difference in families' lives, whether it's here locally, regionally, or around the world, through everything they do, whether they're drafting a home, managing the construction of a home, selling a home, getting the permits, whatever it is they're doing. 89% of the we call it profit for purpose. 89% of the profit that they are able to help generate through that. So it's we call it drywalling for Jesus. They're able to use the talents and the gifts that they put in, that they have in their hands, to directly impact improving and impacting other people's lives.
Well, let's switch gears there. Let's talk about that a little bit. It's a good segue to talking about Hope International. So, tell us a little bit more about the 89%, the drywalling for Jesus, and then Hope International. How did that start? What is Hope International? I'm familiar with it, but maybe not all of our listeners are. So, go
Yeah.
ahead. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So briefly, Hope International is a Christ-centered micro enterprise development organization. We've been around since 1997. We started out of my failure of going through all 5 steps of what we call toxic charity. And it was written about in Robert Lupton's book, Toxic Charity, where he talks about we here in the West think that we need to supply people's needs or help people by giving them stuff. And sometimes that's food, sometimes that's clothing, sometimes that's housing even. And sometimes that's needed. There are times when there are a lot of needs like that, but too many times what we've seen, especially in the past 20 years, that toxic charity goes past its life. So it's when helping becomes hurting. And he talks about those 5 steps. That first gift, when we're giving people stuff, there's appreciation, then anticipation, then expectation, then entitlement, and then dependency. What we believe in is a very holistic approach of coming alongside of the families we serve, some of what you're showing here on our website. A quick example is my daughter and I had a chance to meet Anastasia in Burundi, who could not afford to send her 2 young girls to school. They were preschool age. She was not going to be able to afford to send them to school, but she had an idea that she was going to be able to, that she wanted to buy 20 chairs. They were $1 a piece. She got a loan for $20. I don't know, Ben, about you, but I don't know if I would have approved the loan for 20 chairs in the 3rd poorest country in the world. I may have said, how about if we get a loan for like food or housing or something like, but her idea was that she was going to buy 20 chairs and lease them out to couples getting married. So a wedding leasing business.
Okay.
And so her local loan officer, so all of our loan officers around the world, we're in 24 countries now and have, we've worked with millions of clients. All of our loan officers have what we call the head of a banker, the heart of a pastor, and the soul of a missionary. And her loan officer, Anastasia's loan officer, said, you know what? That's a good idea. That dog will hunt. That idea of 20 chairs will work. So here's your loan for $20. Okay. Think 4 cups of Starbucks. Your loan for Anastasia wasn't interested in toxic charity. She wanted a loan that she was going to pay back. Yep. So fast forward to today, Anastasia has 200 chairs, 200 place settings, 200 baskets, and 3 wedding dresses, small, medium, and large, that she leases out to couples getting married, and she is thriving. And she's using the gifts that God put in her hands instead of receiving toxic charity. So that's a little bit what Hope does. It started out of my failure in toxic charity of sending containers of food, medical supplies to our partners in Ukraine, 26 years ago, who needed it the first year, but about the 3rd year, we were actually crippling the very people we were trying to help. So we try to come alongside of the clients we serve, look for ways to unleash what God put in their hands and help leverage it, and really believe that God made us to work.
So it's all based around the concept of these micro loans to an entrepreneurial idea. Is that the idea?
That is a big part of what Hope does. Now, if I had more time, I'd unpack the other part of it, but about half of what we do is in financial services through savings groups. So in some areas of the world, where the poverty level is so deep that microenterprise development they're just not quite ready for that. So a savings group. So I'll give you a quick example of a savings group. So Jane, who we also had a chance to meet in Zimbabwe, started with a small savings group, just saving 15 cents a week along with her group. Her group, by the way, was called the Famous Club. I love the names of the groups that these folks give themselves. But it's the script is put together, the template. Jane was saving 15 cents a week, and some people say, well, how did she get the 15 cents if she was so poor? Well, working in gardens, cleaning houses, whatever it was, but she saved together, and She was part of the famous club, had a template that they work with that's called the 5 W's: the welcome, worship, word, work, and wrap up. So each week they're learning together, saving together, praying for each other through some serious issues, like true poverty issues. But eventually Jane saved $20. It took her 18 months, but she saved $20. And then the group voted to go take out of the pot. So it's like a savings and loan out of their savings and give Jane a loan for $60. So she had a total of $80 and she bought 100 peeps. She bought 100 little chicks, started a chicken business. Fast forward, she was very successful. So she went from survival to success. And then when we were there in January, she had just given out bars of soap to 13 widows in her community. So talk about, she was able to be generous with her success and really feel that significance of giving back in her own community. So the generosity of folks right here in Lancaster and around the world who have gotten involved in giving to Hope allowed Jane to save, for 18 months and then be successful for a couple years and then give back to individuals that needed help. Soap is a huge luxury item in the Epworth area of Harare, Zimbabwe.
Wow. So there's so many questions. So little time. How many people do you think globally have been impacted through the efforts of Hope International?
So it's easier to measure it's been millions. It's easier to measure in the capital, but several million people have been impacted. We're currently in 24 countries. We're partnering with about 10,000 churches, and we've raised about $275 million. And thank you to your listeners who have gotten involved and have listened to us talk for the last 26 years about needing help with raising funds for Hope International. We've been able to raise about $275 million. But here's the cool number. That $275 million has been leveraged up because these loans get paid back, and we're able to leverage up and just like, another financial institution. So we've been able to loan out in tiny loans over $1.6 billion over the past 26 years.
That's a staggering number. And to think of the impact that number has, that's unbelievable. A few other things. Hope International is based right here in Lancaster, right?
Yes. Yeah. 227 Granite Run Drive.
Yep. And how many people are employed at Hope International?
So we have a couple hundred people employed domestically, and then thousands around the world through our programs that we run. Hope International's president, who started almost 20 years ago now, is a guy by the name of Peter Greer, who you need to interview on this show.
I know Peter.
Okay.
I know Peter, yeah.
Okay. I thought you did. And it would be great if you could interview him because he would be able to go deeper. He is president of Hope International and has been since 2004 when he joined us. Amazing individual. But yes, that's a lot of the multiplication of what Hope does is through the indigenous individuals that are hired in the field. So that example that I gave of Anastasia in Burundi, there's a whole program and there's a whole group of individuals in Burundi that are not on Hope's payroll, but they're running under Hope's program. So they're indigenous to and they may not even recognize the name Hope in English. But the program is being leveraged, and part of that is the power of the way Hope operates is really leveraging the local context, the local leadership, and the local knowledge, rather than having folks like me in Lancaster try to tell somebody in Burundi what business they should run. Right. Yeah, and you can see our board members, the individuals that lead our programs around the world, extremely hungry, humble, smart. And it's been just an amazing journey to work alongside of them. Ukraine is near and dear to our hearts because of that being where we started.
Okay.
So that's where I started working in Ukraine in the mid 90s and, went on this path of toxic charity and then realized, wow, we're actually hurting the people we're helping. And it sent us on this journey of looking for holistically helping people invest in their dreams. Yeah. And of course, when the invasion happened in February of 22, it was heartbreaking for us to see, but we've been working really hard to come alongside of those families. I just want to give you one example. I wish I had time for like 30, but one example, we have a guy in Ukraine named Artem that owns a restaurant that he didn't want to leave. And what I've noticed about the folks in Ukraine, you've probably picked this up from the news, they are resilient. They're not going anywhere. And they've been beaten up, battered, and the situation is horrific, but God is using this time of crisis to bring people to himself. And one of the things, besides being able to pray with Artem and come around him and support him, we've been able to, through the generosity of our donors, like those of you who are listening right here in Lancaster, we've been able to give Artem a loan, not a gift, but a loan for a generator because his power kept going out because of the war and so many missiles hitting the power plants and the infrastructure. We've been able to give him a loan for a generator. He changed the name of his restaurant his restaurant is now called Bunker Ribs and Burgers. And he's been able to hire displaced families, give them a place to work, give them meaning, and give them income, which they would not have had otherwise.
That's an amazing story. And I'm sure your websites tell the stories of other people like this. You just shared a couple from Hope International and, of course, the Ukraine gentleman here. But, if somebody wanted to learn more about the types of missions that are served through Hope International, the website would be a great place to go, right?
Yes, it would be. Yes.
Yep. And, I think Chris had it up on the screen there, a donation page specifically for that effort in the Ukraine. But if somebody wanted to get involved in supporting Hope International, are there volunteer opportunities at all, or is it really financial gifts that would benefit? How can somebody get involved?
Yeah, most of what we do is financial services and coming alongside of folks in all the 4 domains. So, physically, spiritually, personally, and socially. So looking for ways to come alongside of people. We in general, it's not a volunteer-based business, but there are some segments, if somebody wants to get involved, either as a fellow or an intern, there are ways to get involved. We for sure need prayer partners, and we love to take vision trips just to spread the word and just to let folks see, hey, here is how the rest of the world's living, and here's some ways you can get behind a sustainable, truly a way that truly restores dignity. And that's what I think a lot of times it comes down to. Sometimes we think we're the donor, we're going to have this parental attitude of we're going to take care of folks that can't really take care of it on themselves. So we kind of say, hey, if you can step aside, we got this. And it's sometimes that doesn't restore dignity as much as if we can say, even that entrepreneur in Haiti or Dominican Republic or Moldova who has some kind of a skill, if we can say to them, we can come alongside of you through small amounts of business training, a loan or saving services, and help you support your kids, help you give back to your community, it restores a lot of dignity. So there's lots of ways to get involved here locally. We have Homes for Hope. We have golf tournaments. We have a couple golf tournaments coming up in the next few days, but it's all on our website. Would love to have you join us. And Ben, you need to interview Peter Greer.
I'll reach out. I met Peter at a local church that my family went to for about 10 years. He probably still goes to the church, but we've found a different church that's a little closer to our home for the last couple years. But I didn't know Peter well, but I know him well enough to reach out to him. And
awesome.
I believe he's actually a Gardner's customer. So
Yes, I think he is. I think he is. Yes.
Yep. So, I mean, just kind of wrapping up. I mean, again, there's so many questions I'd love to ask you about both Keystone and Hope International. But out of all of this, what is the legacy that you hope to leave behind? Either, Jeff Rutt legacy or Keystone Hope International. What is the legacy you hope to leave behind?
Yeah. So I guess one of the things I would say is I'd love to see potential maximized. So whether it's in in the mattress business, whether it's a podcast or whether it's somebody, on a tennis court or a football field, maximizing, we're all endowed with different levels of skill and talent, right? But I love to help folks maximize their potential. One of my pet peeves is seeing someone with a lot of talent and seeing it be wasted or just not maximized. And I think that relates, whether it's somebody working for Keystone here in Lancaster or Hope International here in Lancaster or somewhere, in Malawi or Zimbabwe or Zambia, wherever it is around the world, using what God put in our hands for maximum impact, for maximum honor and glorifying God through it, and also being able to just leverage up. And I think having that growth mindset and maximizing your potential throughout your life is what the way God created us. And so that's something that's important to me. I got a long list of others, but that's just I would love to continue to encourage.
That's fantastic. And I mean, that whole, I mean, what you just shared, I mean, that's evident in, your visions for the two companies, the 89%, and of course, what you've been able to get started with Hope International. It's just, I mean, unbelievable impact that you and your businesses have been able to make. So I love the potential, the conversation there. So I think that kind of wraps up our time here talking about the businesses. And again, I wish we had more time. There's so many questions, but are you ready for a connection cocktail? Just a few questions to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you've been able to travel to a number of these places where Hope has had some impact. Do you like to travel? Are you more of a homebody or a little bit of both?
Yeah.
Or
no, we do. We love to travel, and it's one of the amazing kind of, I'll call it, side benefits that I did not truly see coming was the benefit of us being able to take our kids through the years, over the last 30 years, and now our grandkids, to different parts of the world. We actually are planning a trip right now to Zimbabwe, Victoria Falls in January, and we're doing a 10-year milestone trip for anybody that's been at Keystone for 10 years or more. We're taking them and anyone they want to take with them along to see the work of Hope International. Also, we're going to be visiting some children's ministries that we were part of helping start there, and of course, see the beauty of Victoria Falls. So it's going to be a great combo, and we're just looking forward to that. But one of the things I love about traveling, especially with young folks, whether you're 6, 16, or 66, it totally takes the wind out of your not fair speech. And we get caught up sometimes in the first world problems, and it's really cool to see sometimes the contentment and the joy that folks around the world have with so much less. But what's really important is the love of Jesus in their heart and the focus on helping those around them. And I can't tell you how many times we've gone to places in significant need, and our friends have said, "We've been praying for you," and it's just really cool to connect with folks around the world.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I have not personally traveled to those types of areas that you're describing there, but I'm sure it's eye-opening. And it's cool that your staff has the opportunity to go and see the impact, because I'm sure, I mean, I'm sure they do a wonderful job already, but like seeing, their efforts on the ground thousands of miles away, I'm sure has to, hit them in a positive way, and, just like increase the impact that the organization is making.
It does. It does for sure.
That's really, really cool. So traveling like this, I'm sure you get exposed to a number of different foods, right? So
Yeah.
is there anything that you've come across that was like, I'm not touching that, but actually like enjoyed? Was there anything like that?
Yeah. So there's so many different kinds of food. I can, island of Tacloban in the Philippines, they love their fish, and they all kinds of different fish, and the juices in Ukraine to the one thing I've noticed, Ben, is that no matter where you go in the world, the chicken is amazing.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's all we need to know. Try the chicken. All right. So the last thing I want to wrap up with, I know your wife, you have a powerful testimony related to a health concern, I think, that your wife went through, and I think it would be great for you to share that with our listeners.
Yeah. So 2015, my wife Sue, and we've been married 43 years now. God bless her. Was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer and given a 4% chance of surviving 2 years. When we spent a lot of time in prayer, spent a lot of time asking for prayer from our circle of prayer warriors, and praise God, she is healthy today and cancer free today. But
it's unbelievable.
So she went through 7 rounds of chemo, and it was looking pretty grim there for a season. But God is faithful, and Johns Hopkins took really good care of her. God brought her through it, and we really believe performed a miracle in her life. So we are extremely grateful for every breath.
Yeah. I mean, that's incredible. 4%, 7 rounds of chemo, and she's doing great now. That's, I mean, what would you say that 2015 that was? So 8 years later.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And like you said, the power of prayer and bringing people around you, and, trusting God's got the hands of the doctors and surgeons and everybody involved. So that's really amazing.
Absolutely. And one of the things it taught us, Ben, it taught me that I should have already known, is that, about, the briefness of our mortality, right? We don't really know. God has our days, knows the number of our days, but we don't. And it's just so important to really focus on what's really important, and keep the main thing, and just maximize the days that he gives us, and be grateful for the things that we have. So there's so many things we have to be grateful for, like that breath we just took, like, the beautiful sunshine outside today. The fact that you and I can be.
It's raining now.
Okay.
But yes, the rain too.
And the rain.
It's funny. We went like almost a month and a half with like barely any rain, and now it's rained 4 or 5 days straight.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because the sun's shining here, so we're. I'm joining you from my home, but the sunshine is. But yeah. So we have so many things to be grateful for. Even the opportunity to use the skills and abilities and talents that God's given us. Such a gift.
100%.
And when it really helps put that in perspective when you're faced with the real possibility that could be ending soon, and then
and we don't know,
like a gift that every breath beyond that. So
Well, that's
Thank you
powerful.
for allowing me to share that. And
Yep.
Sue is a warrior. She is very courageous, and she's always been and always is and always will be praying for others and compassionate towards others. And it was a time for others to be, really leaning into being compassionate and praying for her.
Yep. Well, that's a powerful story, powerful testimony there. And again, this was just a great conversation. I loved talking to you, learning more about Keystone Custom Homes, just the unbelievable impact that you've been able to, move forward with Hope International. $1.6 billion that you've been able to kind of infuse into areas around the world that need it, but not just giving it, empowering them to do something with it. That's just so cool. All the impact you have here in Lancaster and giving back to the Lancaster community. So thank you for all that you do. And thanks for being a guest on the Lancaster Connects podcast.
Yeah. So one more quick thing that you thought you were going to ask about, one thing I want to do before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
is, I would love to, so we have 7 grandkids, and I was a wrestler in high school. I'd love to be able to teach my 6-year-old grandson Sawyer the reversal so that he can beat his 9-year-old brother in wrestling sometime before the end of the year. He's into it, and we're working on it. So that's my goal.
Are they going to watch this?
So maybe. But Fletcher, the older one, already knows it's coming. And
okay, all right. So he needs to know how to defend it.
Yeah.
Yep. That's great. Now, do you ever get into wrestling matches with them? Or are you able to teach them like that?
I'm working with them. It's fun. We do all
cool.
kinds of things together. They're great chess players, by the way.
Oh,
but
that's
Sawyer's gonna, one of these days, he's gonna pick up that reversal. He's already got the 2-leg takedown. But so far the size has been able to overcome, but that won't last for long.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
I love that. That's great. Yeah, Jeff, nice talking with you. Have a good rest of your afternoon, and we'll talk again.
Thanks for all you guys do. Have a good day.
Yep. We'll see you. You too.
See ya.
Well, that was an awesome interview. I think I say that after every interview we have here. Just wonderful people in Lancaster County, and Jeff is another one, just doing amazing things here through Keystone Custom Homes and Hope International, of course, changing lives both through home ownership and improvement of life, and of course improving life internationally through the efforts of Hope International. And man, that story about his wife Sue, I'm glad she's doing well. Just amazing to have a 4% chance to live. Like, hearing that from a doctor, understanding what that likely means, and then to have the power to pull through that's just unbelievable to me. So a great guest. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, we shared it earlier, lancasterconnects.com/guest. If you have a story like Jeff's to tell, either you're a business owner, run an organization, or are somebody that has a charity or nonprofit, or just have a story to tell, doing good in Lancaster County, let us know. lancasterconnects.com/guest. We'll have you on the show. Couple quick things to kind of wrap up the show here today. Sleep better tip. This is not one in the book specifically, but you can get a book for free, like gardnersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better. Some helpful sleep tips and information. But we always share a sleep tip in here. And my sleep tip is actually something that I've been using that I found to be a great help. And that's using something to help you breathe better. Jeff just got done talking about every breath is important, right? Or, sometimes you don't know when the next breath is coming, but, breathing is something we do as a part of being alive, right? And you don't really think about breathing while you're sleeping, but it's actually really, really important. There's breathing exercises you can do as you're falling or trying to fall asleep to maybe help you fall asleep more quickly. But airflow is really important. And a lot of times, we're all shaped differently, and, people have different things going on with their body, right? So, sometimes breathing can be a challenge, whether it's like laying flat and snoring. Elevation helps with that. What I've actually been using is really, I guess I can call it an apparatus called Intake. The company's called Intake Breathing. It's kind of like a Breathe Right strip. Breathe Right you can get, CVS, any of those types of pharmacies. But, this Intake Breathing, it uses magnets, and you put these magnets on your nose every night, and it's a hard plastic thing that opens, with magnets in it, and it actually opens the nasal cavity. And breathing is it feels like the amount of air you can take in or breath you can take is doubled with this. And I find that I fall asleep so quickly with it, and I stay asleep through the night because I'm breathing properly. Like my nose, which sometimes feels like it can't always get the breath that it should have, is free to breathe. There it is there. I'm not selling Intake Breathing or anything like that. There's no kickback. My chiropractor turned me on to it, and they're wonderful. You sign up for a little subscription. They send you enough for one every night, and it's amazing at how it opens up your nose to breathe properly. So again, not a sleep better tip that's in this book, but there are tons of sleep tips in this book. GardnersMattressandMore.com/sleep-better. Request your free book. We'll actually mail you a physical copy at our expense. We want you to sleep better as well. So I've got kind of the last order of business here on the Lancaster Connects podcast. We do these sleep tips, and we do testimonials from Gardner's Mattress and More, because Gardner's Mattress and More produces this show. It is the four walls that I am sitting within. Like I said, Gardner's Mattress and More is right across the road from Park City Mall on Plaza Boulevard. And Jeff and I co-own Gardner's together, and our success at Gardner's has allowed us to put on a show like this, Lancaster Connects, to be able to highlight other people doing great things in the county, and just shine a light on some great people, some great stories like what we just heard from Jeff. But I wanted to pull up a recent testimonial. We just came through the Labor Day season, very busy. Lots of great customers came in and are improving their sleep through a better night or through a better mattress, and had a handful of reviews come in through the weekend. One from Josh here in Lancaster. Great buying experience. Drew, sales manager, appreciated his research and knowledge on mattresses. John appreciated Drew's knowledge on mattresses, and he showed me exactly what I requested. The pricing was fair, and the experience was excellent. And he also went on to say, no wonder why they have been in business for many years. So thank you for that review, Josh. Thanks for the kind words about us as Gardners, and of course our salesperson, Drew, who's been with us for, I think, almost 10 years now. All of our team does a fantastic job. Drew, Phil, and Chad, they were kind of the weekend warriors this past weekend through Labor Day. And, nice thing there is Jeff and I didn't have to work those sales hours, which we very much appreciate. Kind of allows us to come in refreshed to do the work of, everything else that we do here at Gardner's, but then also put on a show like this. So props to our team. They do a fantastic job. And again, thanks to all of our customers that make something like this possible. So I think that's it for today. No prize-a-later. We will be launching a new series of contests and some fun things coming up here in October. Stay tuned for that. Starting October 1st, we're going to kick off a contest. That's going to be a month-long contest, bigger prizes, some really cool things going on here for the last quarter of 2023 and into 2024. Got some great things coming. So thanks so much for watching today's episode of Lancaster Connects, and we'll see you at the next connection.